divinely revealed. 9 miraculous symptoms to expect in the 3 days after the black moon, a prophecy for the faithful. In the heart of the quaint English village of Eldershire, as a heavy fog rolled through the cobblestone streets, whispers of a prophecy gripped the townsfolk. A celestial event, the ominous black moon, was soon to rise, and with it, they spoke of 9 miraculous symptoms that would ignite faith or spark chaos. Mary, a woman known for her steadfast devotion, clutched the hand of her beloved husband, Tom, the village baker. His terminal illness loomed like a shadow over their lives, deepening Mary's prayer life. With each prayer, she felt a surge of hope. Could this black moon be their answer? Days turned into nights, and as the village gathered for prayer at their beloved church, the sky began to change. First, it was a kaleidoscope of colors, a vibrant aurora reflecting off the clouds, drenched in divine light. "Look, the heavens are rejoicing," an elder called out, his voice ringing like a bell through the gathered crowd. Eyes widened as a wave of energy washed over them, an electric anticipation that felt almost tangible. Then came the strange occurrences. A child, struggling to walk, found his legs strengthened, and he leaped with joy, laughing into the air. A villager with a chronic illness, thought too weak to rise, stood up at the altar, radiating a light that seemed to pierce through the darkness. People gasped, tears streaming down their faces as the miraculous began to stir in Eldershire. Now Mary faced her most profound challenge. In her heart, a battle waged between faith and doubt. Could St. Jude really intervene? Days passed as she opened her home to her neighbors for prayer, creating a powerful community of believers. They prayed fervently, awaiting the grim arrival of the black moon. Mary found herself lost in Scripture, poring over verses that spoke of miracles. "He shall mount you up on eagle's wings," she whispered, clinging to a promise in her heart. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. As the black moon approached, the air turned frigid, yet a spirit of warmth filled Mary's home. Villagers spoke in hushed tones about the prophecy. 7 signs had graced them already, with the final 2 not far off. Yet in Mary's heart, a tangle of hope and anxiety grew. She witnessed a miracle, a young woman cured of despair, but shadows of disbelief danced among some of the townsfolk. They called her faith denial, a desperate clinging to the impossible. Then, on the eve of the black moon, a thunderous clap split the sky. In its wake, whispers of the last symptoms flowed through the village like wildfire. Relationships healed, conflicts reconciled, laughter erupting where sorrow once dwelt. Mary knelt, overwhelmed by emotion. "Oh, dear St. Jude, let us see the work of your hand." As the night deepened, the village held its breath, teetering on the brink of the divine. Would the final symptom bring Tom's healing, or a different kind of awakening? The black moon rose slowly, casting a haunting light and enveloping them all in its ethereal glow. The first whispers of miraculous transformation lingered in the air, as they awaited confirmation from the heavens. The village of Eldershire fell into a profound silence as the black moon cast its mystical glow upon them. Mary looked around, her heart racing with anticipation. The air tingled with the promise of change. Every villager gazing skyward, eyes filled with desire for a glimpse of the miraculous. Tom lay in their modest home, the shadows dancing on the walls as flickering candlelight illuminated his pale face. Mary knelt beside him, whispering assurances mixed with fervent prayers. "Please, dear God," she breathed, "let him feel your presence. Let him feel the miracle." As the hours crept by, the weight of dread lingered in Mary's heart. Was she truly ready for whatever lay ahead? The prophecy spoke of symptoms, but the deepest longing churned within her, a simple wish for Tom to rise again, to embrace her as he had in brighter days. She could almost hear the echo of their laughter from not long ago, the warmth of his arms around her, and it filled her spirit with both joy and desperation. Suddenly, there was a shift in the atmosphere, an electric surge that traveled through Mary like a wave of warmth. The church bells tolled, vibrating with a resonance that ignited the hearts of the faithful. A sound of harmony flowed through the streets as each villager began to stir, drawn not just to the spirit of prayer, but to a profound sense of unity. They moved as one toward the church, where the flickers of hope shone brightly. In that sacred gathering place, Mary found herself enveloped by sincerity and strength. Faces glistened with tears of faith, hands raised in anticipation of the unfolding miracle. And there, the elder stood again, his voice booming with clarity, a clarion call to their belief. Tonight, we are bound by faith. Let our prayers ascend like incense before God. May the black moon reveal what is hidden. In that moment, each soul surrendered to a greater purpose. Mary felt the collective faith radiate around her, a beacon of hope sent heavenward. Please, St. Jude, she cried out, let this night be the turning point. As she prayed, a light began to pierce through the darkness of the church. Overpowering yet gentle, it flowed like the sweetest joy, wrapping around every heart present. It filled Mary with a sense of indescribable peace, the kind that reassures the spirit even amidst the storm. The light pulsed, as though answering the prayers of every heart that sought solace. Then, out of the corner of her eye, Mary noticed the flicker of movement within their home. Her breath caught in her throat. Had the light reached Tom? Was this the beginning of his healing? With urgent steps, she rushed back, her heart pounding a rhythm of hope. As she crossed the threshold, she paused. The quiet filled her with a sense of expectancy. She took a deep breath, willing herself to embrace whatever miracle awaited her. As she entered the room, the glow within was stronger than ever, enveloping Tom in a warm embrace. Tom, she whispered, the weight of longing bursting forth. He stirred, his eyes fluttering and revealing a glimmer of recognition. Mary's heart soared, yet she felt the air shift again, a symbol of divine insights emerging alongside the healing. The time had come for Tom's awakening, but would it end in miraculous healing, or would it reveal a different plan altogether? In that sacred moment, when the boundaries between heaven and earth felt as fragile as a breath, one thing remained certain. God's purpose was still unfurling, and the promise of the final symptoms remained just beyond their understanding. The village of Eldershire waited on destiny's edge. Eyes turned to the heavens, and whispers of the next miracle were on the brink of manifestation. As Mary stood at the threshold, her breaths slow and measured, the soft glow enveloping Tom began to take on a life of its own. The warmth rolled off him like gentle waves, drawing her closer. Tom, she urged again, a whisper filled with both hope and fear. His eyes opened wider, and for a moment, time hung suspended, a delicate balance, a breath held in anticipation. Then, Tom's lips parted, a soft sound escaping that caught in the still air. Mary? His voice was a mixture of surprise and confusion, tinged with the fragility of life renewed. Joy crashed over her like the sweetest tidal wave. She rushed to his side, taking his frail hands into hers, feeling heat radiate from his skin. You're here. You're really here. Tears streamed down her face as she pressed her forehead against his. In that embrace, all the uncertainty melted away, leaving only the deep pulse of gratitude. But just as quickly, shadows of doubt coiled back into Mary's heart. What have you seen, Tom? She asked, pulling slightly back to gaze into his eyes. Do you know where you were? For a fleeting instant, a flicker of something darker crossed his features before he steadied himself. It was strange, he murmured, still trying to piece together the fragments of his experience. I was lost, Mary, in a fog not of this world. He paused, weighing his words. Yet, I could feel something, a presence, a light. It was calling me. That light. The same light that had filled the church and stirred the villagers. Mary's spirit soared. Perhaps that was the miracle they had prayed for. Yet another thought nagged at her. The prophesied symptoms were said to follow the black moon and lead to unprecedented outcomes. Can you remember anything else? She pressed gently. Tom stared into the distance, a mix of curiosity and caution in his eyes. I believe I was offered a choice. To return or to stay. His voice trailed off as realization washed over him. But I chose you, Mary. I chose our life. A surge of relief swept through her, yet a question loomed large in her heart. What effects would his return bring? Would this recovery reveal blessings or unveil trials? The uncharted territory ahead sent a thrill of apprehension rippling through her. Outside, a murmuring crowd began to gather. The flickering lights of candle flames danced through the windows, casting elongated shadows across the walls. Voices filled the air, rising like incense, a mixture of praise, awe, and testimony of faith. A collective heartbeat echoed the strength of their prayers. Suddenly, Mary remembered the elder's words, "May the black moon reveal what is hidden." What truths stood on the horizon? What if Tom's return brought about more than just their reunion? A sense of urgency gripped her heart. With trembling hands, she helped Tom rise from the bed. He was weak but determined, his faith shining like an ember sustaining a fire. "Come," she said, leading him softly toward the door. "They are waiting for us. You must share what you saw." As they stepped into the warm light, the atmosphere shifted again, a tangible force wrapping around them, stirring the hearts of the villagers. Gasps fell like leaves in autumn as eyes widened in astonishment. Mary felt anticipation crackle in the air like the moment before storm breaks. Together, they stepped into the sacred space, ready to reveal some hidden truth. But as the crowd drew closer, Mary's heart raced. What if everything they had prepared for was dwarfed by what God had in store? In that moment of vulnerability, as every gaze turned towards them, Mary understood their lives would never be the same again. They stood poised on the precipice of revelation, hearts aching for what lay ahead, and she whispered a silent prayer for the strength to face it. Something profound was brewing, ready to be disclosed. Tom would speak, but what would emerge from the depths of his experience? Would it be a beacon of hope or a catalyst for deeper trials? The answer beckoned just out of reach, shrouded in divine mystery. Tom stood at the center of the gathered villagers, his frail body alight with the fervor of returning faith. Mary held his hand tightly, her heart echoing with the whispers of uncertainty and excitement. Every eye was fixed on him, breath held in sacred anticipation. As he looked out, the warmth of their faith swept over him like a gentle wind, stirring memories from the depths of his experience. "I have seen," he began, his voice steadying as it rose, layered with newfound intensity. "I've seen a choice, a path that unfurls before us, steeped in both light and darkness." The murmurs of the villagers swirled around him, an undercurrent of anxious hope. The air grew thick with expectation, and the flickering candlelight danced, reflecting the very uncertainty of their hearts. It was there Tom continued, searching the horizon of memory. "In that fog, I felt the weight of all our burdens, the pain of our struggles, and the joy of our shared faith. A figure appeared to guide with eyes like burning coals. He spoke to me." Another pause as he collected himself, pulling each word from the sacred well of insight he had touched. What did he say? Someone called from aback, a voice trembling with intrigue. "He told me of 3 days," Tom replied, his heart pounding as he grasped Mary's hand tighter. 3 days filled with miraculous signs and symptoms that would reveal the hidden truths among us. Each symptom would call forth blessings and challenges, paving the path for the light to shine brighter than ever. A gasp shook through the crowd. Mary felt both exhilaration and fear ripple through her. This was not simply about healing. This was a cosmic revelation, threading their lives into an unfolding tapestry of divine purpose. Tom's voice rose again, steady and filled with power. I was shown a wave like a river overflowing, a swell of faith that will wash over those weary in spirit. Miracles are coming, friends. The black moon is a signal, a harbinger of glory. Tears glistened in many eyes, hearts lighting up with hope. But beware, Tom cautioned, fixing his gaze on the villagers, shifting the atmosphere like a sudden wind. With every gift, there may be a trial. Each sign we receive is an invitation to deeper faith, a call to unity that may challenge our very beliefs. The word trial hung in the air like a specter, weaving through the souls gathered there. Mary felt the tension rise like a tidal wave, a manifestation of unspoken fears brought to light. Were these symptoms? Another voice pressed, the rest holding their breath. Tom's eyes glimmered with understanding, yet clouded with uncertainty. I cannot share them all just yet. For the first symptom must awaken a longing, a deep yearning within your hearts. The second will summon forth a purification. In the third, we will witness a union of our spirits unlike any we have known. The crowd erupted, flickers of both trepidation and excitement, dancing wildly across faces illuminated by candlelight. Mary's pulse quickened. Everything felt charged with divine possibility. 3 days, Tom repeated softly, letting the weight of the words sink into the hearts of those present. 3 days to prepare our souls, to open ourselves to the depths of God's goodness. What we are set to experience will transform us. I promise you. As Tom finished, silence fell over the gathering, a stillness that wrapped around them like a sacred embrace. Each heartbeat echoed a lingering question. What would those 3 days hold? Something monumental was brewing, and the cliff of uncertainty loomed ever closer, ready to plunge them into the unknown. And then, the night sky outside began to darken, as the black moon rose, casting an ethereal glow that seeped through the windows like divine light. Wow, Mary whispered, her heart racing. What will that truly mean? As they stood together, surrounded by the eager faces of their community, a silent prayer lingered in the air. For every answer they sought, a deeper mystery beckoned. What miracles awaited them in the shadows of those 3 days? Would they be ready to embrace the unfolding journey, wherever it might lead? The air around them vibrated with an indescribable energy, heightened by the luminous presence of the black moon. Its soft glow seemed to seep into the very fabric of their beings, touching hearts with a stirring light. Mary looked into Tom's eyes, seeking reassurance in the midst of this divine mystery. What awaited them was both exciting and terrifying. The villagers began to whisper among themselves, uncertainty clashing with burgeoning hope. What do we do now? One man called, his voice wavering. How do we prepare for something we cannot see? Tom took a deep breath, grounding himself in the moment. We start by believing in something greater than ourselves, he spoke. In these next 3 days, each of us must seek out the deep desires we hold within, for your hearts will guide you. Let the longing reveal itself, allowing you to connect with the essence of those miraculous symptoms. Mary felt a warmth spreading through her chest. She could sense at the call to seek, to yearn, to unveil the layers that bound their spirits. The notion stirred her soul like early morning light breaking through the darkness. They were on the brink of something transformative. Will we know when the symptoms arrive? A woman asked, her brow furrowed with visible concern. With heart and spirit, Tom replied, his voice steady yet gentle. Stay attuned to your inner voice, to God whispering in your heart. Each symptom will feel both personal and communal. They're not just for you, but for us all. Together, we will move toward a purpose greater than ourselves, a divine invitation to mercy and grace. Encouraged, Mary felt determined to foster that connection. She turned to others around her. Let us gather each night. We can share our experiences, our feelings, what we sense God is doing within us. There is strength in our unity. A murmur of agreement rippled through the group, igniting a spark of collective courage. We shall not walk this path alone, Tom added, lifting his voice to encompass them. Embrace each other. In shared faith, we will see miracles unfold. The flickering candles illuminated their faces, revealing the flickers of fear mingled with a resolute determination. The fire of faith began to glow brighter. The villagers shared quiet nods, expressions filled with a mix of fear and excitement, reflecting the very essence of spiritual awakening. As the night deepened and shadows danced upon the walls, Mary suddenly felt a tingle, an electric sensation flowing through her veins. What was this? A whisper brushed against her mind, gentle, yet poignant. It was a call of yearning. "Tom," she exclaimed, her voice barely above a whisper. "What if we take a moment now, right here, to center our thoughts, to pray for guidance?" His eyes glistened with encouragement. "Yes, let us open our hearts, inviting clarity and healing." With a soft nod, the villagers formed a circle, hands joined together in a sacred embrace. Mary closed her eyes, feeling the heartbeat of each person around her. The energy was palpable, warm, and alive. As they prayed, a calming breeze swept into the room, anointing their silence with comfort. Each person felt the presence of the divine wrap around them like a protective blanket. They began to pour out their hopes, regrets, fears, and aspirations, a collective streaming to the heavens. Moments passed, but time felt irrelevant as the villagers surrendered themselves to the flow of spirit. Soft sobs echoed as burdens were let go, and burdens transformed into cries of praise. "That was powerful," someone whispered when they finally opened their eyes, glimmering with newfound light. "Indeed, a glimpse of what is to come," Tom agreed, a glint of fervor shining in his eyes. But then, as if the night held its breath, a deep rumble vibrated through the air. The ground beneath them shook slightly, a reminder of the power they tapped into. "What was that?" Mary gasped, all her senses heightened. Tom turned his gaze towards the window, the black moon shining with an intensity that stole their breath away. "Something is shifting. Something is being revealed." With hearts racing, they knew this was merely the beginning. Together, they would face what lay ahead, ready to embrace the signs and symptoms that would come. What deeper transformations awaited them as the moon continued to rise? What secret calls would it unveil in those 3 sacred days? The divine mystery pulsed in the air, a vibrant invitation to discovery, urging them to prepare for the unexpected journey ahead. The next morning dawned with a golden hue spilling through the village, unearthing a world brimming with potential. As Mary stepped outside, the gentle rays of sunlight cascaded over her face, bathing her in warmth. They had spent the night in prayer, their hearts interwoven as one. There was an undeniable energy in the air, as if the whole earth was holding its breath for what was to come. Gathering by the communal square, the villagers arrived, their faces alive with energy and determination. Mary could see it in their eyes, a shared expectation, a whisper of faith that flowed through them like an unseen current. Tom stood at the center, ready to guide them through the day's discovery. "Today, we will reach deeper," he said, his voice steady and filled with spirit. "Let us walk in nature, for creation speaks in ways that words cannot. In the rustling of leaves, in the flutter of wings, we may find the signs we seek." Mary felt a flutter in her heart, a call to venture into the embrace of the earth, to seek not just answers but also connection. She glanced around, noticing the villagers' nods, their excitement bubbling like a soft spring. They set off along the winding path leading into the forest, the towering trees standing guard like ancient sentinels. Mary felt the soft crunch of twigs beneath her feet, each step releasing her worries to the ground, where they were swallowed whole. As they walked, she began to notice the little things, a bird-esque song that lifted her spirit, the way sunlight danced through the leaves. Each detail impressed upon her mind like tender reminders of the divine. "Look!" a child gasped, pointing to a shimmering butterfly fluttering close by. "Is it a sign?" Mary smiled, her heart warmed by the child's innocence. "Yes, every living thing carries a message from God," she said softly. After a while, they gathered in a clearing, the black moon visible high in the sky, now brighter than ever against the canopy of verdant leaves. The villagers gathered in a circle, eyes closed, summoning the dreams buried within. "Breathe in the Spirit," Tom murmured, leading them in quiet meditation. "Let your desires take shape as each breath fills you with light." As moments passed, Mary felt tears prickling at the corners of her eyes. The depth of longing within her expanded, filling the space with a consuming warmth. In the hush of their collective silence, a profound peace settled. Suddenly, she heard a gentle whisper, a voice that seemed to rise from the depths of her soul. "Your longing is not without purpose. It beckons the miraculous." At that precise moment, a brilliant flash of light burst through the trees. The light flickered like stars above. Gasps rippled through the group as they opened their eyes, gazing in awe at the sight before them. "What is happening?" a woman cried, a mix of fear and wonder rippling through her. The light swirled above like a dance of heavenly hosts. Tom raised his hands, embracing the glow. "It's a sign," he declared. "The symptoms have begun. Trust in the journey ahead." As laughter and tears mingled in the clearing, joy exploded in their hearts. The air throbbed with anticipation, as if each heartbeat echoed the promise of something extraordinary. But just as soon as it appeared, the light faded, leaving them in the embrace of silence once more. Mary's heart raced, a mixture of hope and longing flooding her spirit. What does it mean? She wondered aloud. Would this be the first of many blessings revealed in the coming sacred days? With their hearts still echoing the divine vibrations, they began to speak of their experiences, sharing images and visions that filled their minds. Each story stood as a thread, weaving them closer in faith. And as they moved on from the clearing, the weight of the unknown pressed upon them. They felt the divine mystery drawing ever closer, nudging them toward a culmination of moments that promised to reveal transformative truths. What other celestial wonders were in store for them in the days to come? What would the moon unveil next, and how would they prepare their hearts for the miraculous that lay just beyond their grasp? The air was thick with expectancy as the villagers made their way back along the path. Mary sensed a shift within her, a beautiful turbulence stirring, igniting a desire she had long kept hidden. Each footfall echoed her heartbeat. Each breath filled her with a mix of hope and unease. Could they truly be embarking on a journey toward divine revelation? Once back in the village, they gathered in the chapel, a humble structure made of weathered wood and stained glass that sparkled with the sun's waning light. The atmosphere felt electric, as if the stones themselves vibrated with an unearthly resonance. Tom stood at the front, looking at the faces of his companions, tired yet radiant, touched by the mystery that surrounded them. "Tonight," he began, "we will open ourselves to the signs God has waiting for us. Trust the unseen. Trust what is yet to come." As night fell, the room dimmed. Candles flickered, casting dancing shadows along the walls. Mary felt an overwhelming sense of unity, their hearts pulsing together like the strings of a divine instrument, strumming a melody of faith and anticipation. She could feel the presence of the Spirit moving through the group, wrapping around them like a comforting embrace. Tom asked everyone to share their visions from the earlier gathering in the clearing. One by one, villagers spoke, each message laden with significance. A mother recalled a tree that spoke of strength. A young man shared a vision of water cascading down a mountain, symbolizing purification and renewal. Mary listened, her spirit pouring over with gratitude as they unfolded their insights. Every experience is a brushstroke in a masterpiece God is creating, Tom said, his voice soothing and powerful as he concluded the evening. We must be open to receiving whatever it is the Lord wishes to reveal. As the villagers began to leave, Mary lingered for just a moment, gazing at the bright stars twinkling through the chapel's small window. Each star seemed like a promise shining just for her, and she felt the pull deep within her heart grow ever stronger. That night, Mary tossed and turned in her sleep, troubled visions taking the shape of her deepest fears and hopes. She found herself standing again in the clearing where the light had pierced through the trees. But this time, the moon hung low, its luminous face watching her closely. "Who am I?" she whispered into the silence, echoing the thoughts that churned within. Suddenly, the moon responded, shimmering brighter, as if to say, "You are beloved, seek your truth." Awakening with a start, Mary felt the weight of the world lift. It was as if her soul was freed from a heavy shroud. An echo remained in her spirit, a gentle call to act. Tomorrow, she would step out into the world anew, grounded in divine promise. Later, as dawn began to creep over the horizon, painting the sky in pastel shades, Mary found herself standing at the edge of her garden. The earth was awakening, soaked in morning dew. She could feel a shift, not just in her heart, but in the very air around her. The whispers were becoming louder, the signs clearer. As she reached down to touch the soil, a sense of urgency surged within her. "What must I do?" she breathed, yearning for clarity. And then, in the stillness, she heard it again, a distinct whisper that sent shivers through her body. "Prepare, for the revelations are near." What kind of revelations awaited them? Would each villager be transformed in a divine way? And what role would Mary play in unveiling the next threads of the unfolding tapestry? Mary stood there, her heart racing as the dawn broke wide. It wasn't just another morning. It was a moment pregnant with promise. The sun emerged, casting golden rays that danced upon the dew-kissed grass, illuminating paths long obscured by doubt. In that divine light, she saw clarity. With renewed urgency, Mary knew she must share what was awakening inside her. She hurried back to the chapel where the villagers began to gather again, weary souls craving hope and direction. As they settled into their seats, Mary felt that familiar pull, the heavy burden of quiet expectation lingering in the air. "Brothers and sisters," she called out, her voice trembling but resolute. "I believe something great is about to unfold among us, something that has been long awaited." Eyes turned, curiosity igniting a fervent buzz in the room. We must prepare ourselves, open our hearts and minds to these revelations. Tom stepped forward, nodding in agreement as he felt the energy shift. Let us pray together, hand in hand, asking for guidance as we delve deeper into this mystery. Hands clasped tightly, a chain of human connection weaving them together. Each whisper of prayer, soft yet powerful, resonated in a way that felt monumental. Despite the warmth of unity, a flicker of doubt loomed within Mary. Did she truly possess the strength to lead them through this journey? A nagging voice crept in, urging her to second-guess herself. But then she remembered the moon's whisper, "You are beloved." That simple truth filled her with courage, prompting her to raise her voice louder. "The thing we've been waiting for, it's close. We can be vessels for the Spirit's work if we surrender ourselves. Let's not shy away from what's within us." Listeners began to nod, their eyes sparkling with determination. Wordlessly, they shared their own dreams and visions, calling forth the divine. A man stood and spoke of a storm that would clear the path of doubt. A woman shared a vision of bread multiplying, a sign of abundance and generosity among them. The room thrummed with excitement. The air thickened with heavenly clarity. As their conversations wove together, a palpable sense of expectation surged in the chapel. Mary could see encouragement igniting within her fellow villagers. Their faith was becoming a flame, and she could feel it lighting her spirit anew. They truly were on the brink of something magnificent. In the midst of their confessions, a soft knocking beckoned from the chapel doors. With a gust of wind accompanying it, the doors swung open to reveal a figure silhouetted in divine brightness. Gasps echoed around the room as they beheld a stranger, a woman draped in garments made of glimmering light. Your prayers have reached heaven. She spoke, her voice like flowing water. I bring you words of encouragement and guidance for what lies ahead. The time for revelation is upon you. But you must each take a step forward in faith, for every step you take together will forge a bridge of enlightenment that no darkness can breach. Mary felt her breath catch in her throat. Could it be that everything they ever longed for was moments away? The revelations were indeed close, and so were the profound transformations. As the woman's presence filled the room, the villagers were captivated by the divine energy. Each person leaned in, hearts racing with anticipation. They all sensed this moment would forever change the fabric of their community. What was to come next? What miracle awaited within these 3 days? With a shared gaze of wonder, they were ready for the journey ahead, a journey steeped in divine possibility. But still, what true revelations lay just around the corner? Could they harness the power within and be truly transformed? The answer loomed ever closer, wrapped in the subtle wisdom held in the embrace of the Spirit. Mary's heart fluttered with anticipation, the light radiating from the stranger wrapping around her like a warm embrace. It was as if the very air was infused with divine energy, urging her to listen closely. The villagers were spellbound, caught in the delicate web of hope and faith. Every step will forge a bridge, the woman's words echoed in Mary's mind. Who could resist such a call? Her spirit surged with purpose as she turned to the assembled crowd. Let's heed this message. We must act together, united in faith. Tom stepped forward again, the conviction in his voice resonating with the congregation. If we're to walk this path, we must strengthen our bond. Together, we can be vessels for those revelations. His words were met with murmurs of agreement and nods, a quiet yet powerful wave of commitment washing over them. The woman continued, her presence unwavering. In these 3 days, you will encounter moments of divine clarity, miracles that shift your understanding of love, hope, and unity will unfold. Prepare your hearts. Each word fell like gentle rain on parched soil, watering seeds of belief. A hushed whisper spread among the villagers as they reflected on their own doubts and fears. What transformations awaited them? What would they discover about themselves? This was not just a gathering, it was an awakening. A child, captivated by the glowing figure, piped up, "Will we really see miracles? Like the ones in the stories?" Innocent hope shone in her eyes, eliciting soft smiles from the adults. Indeed, the woman affirmed, her voice a melodic harmony. You will witness the power of faith manifesting in ways you cannot imagine. But you must be ready to recognize them. Mary glanced around the room, tracing the expressions of her friends' curiosity mixed with trepidation, excitement mingling with anxiety. They were on the edge of something beautiful, yet the journey required courage from each heart. Let's hold a vigil, Mary proposed, her voice regaining strength. For the next 3 days, let us gather every evening. We will pray, share, and seek together. We'll look for signs and hold tight to our dreams, believing they will come alive. A ripple of eager agreement swept through the chapel. Yes, this was how they would step into the unknown together, casting aside fears and doubts, for the promise of transformation loomed large. As the sun began its descent and shadows lengthened across the room, the woman exuded a luminous glow, her presence a tangible testament to the divine. When the night falls, know this. It is in the darkness that your light will shine the brightest. Do not falter in your faith. Light and shadow are intertwined. Trust what you can't yet see. With each sentence, the energy in the room intensified. Village hearts were ignited, not just with anticipation, but with a sense of divine assurance. Would they rise to the occasion? As everyone joined in prayer, Mary felt a wave of unity envelop them. Each soul present clung to the Spirit's promise, their faith intertwined softly like threads in a tapestry. Yet, in the stillness, a gentle tug on her heart reminded her of her own uncertainties. The weight of potential failure lingered in the back of her mind, whispering fears she tried to silence. What if the visions didn't come to fruition? Would their hope end in disappointment? The woman caught her gaze, an understanding gleaming in her eyes. Remember, beloved, sometimes revelations come draped in mystery. Whole worlds shift just beneath the surface of our reality. With that, the mysterious figure raised her hands, and a soft breeze swept through the chapel, carrying the scent of lavender and honey. It was a reminder that miracles often lie just beyond the horizon, waiting for brave hearts to seek them out. As the gathering ended, Mary felt a surge of determination rise within her. They were ready to embrace whatever lay ahead, and she vowed to lead with unwavering faith. What awaited them on this sacred journey? The final night would soon dawn, but within her, a quiet echo lingered what would be. Revealed when darkness fell, would they find their miracles? The final night of the sacred vigil dawned with a deep, resonant stillness enveloping the village of Eldershire. The air hung heavy with anticipation, a gentle tremor coursing through hearts and souls as they gathered once more in the chapel. Mary could feel the weight of the moment pulsing alongside her own heartbeat. This was at the night of revelation. The candles flickered in unison, their light reflecting the mixture of hope and trepidation in the eyes of the villagers. They took their seats, each face alive with the promise of the unknown. Tom stood at the forefront, embodying a newfound strength that radiated hope and courage. Tonight, we gather not just as individuals, but as a collective body of faith. The black moon rises, a catalyst for change, unveiling the blessings we have been seeking. The villagers murmured their agreement, their voices weaving a soft tapestry of support. Mary's heart fluttered with a unique resonance, connecting with her neighbors' prayers and desires. She felt that vibrant thread of unity wrap around them, pulling them towards something greater. As the night deepened, Mary sensed a shift in the atmosphere, like the hush before a storm. The elder, his face lined with wisdom, stepped forward. "Friends, we've spoken of miracles. These 3 days have already brought forth signs, but now is the time to open our hearts completely. For when we invite the Spirit, we leave space for the miraculous." Invigorated, Mary turned to the person beside her, exchanging glances filled with unspoken faith. With everyone making a pact of trust in their hearts, they formed a circle, hands clasped tightly, casting out doubts. "Let's pray for insight," Tom encouraged. "Let the whispers of our souls rise like incense before God." As they prayed, something profound unfolded. Light filled the chapel, brighter than before, spilling from every corner. A symphony of warmth caressed them from above, as the black moon glowed vibrantly outside, casting ethereal shadows that danced along the walls. "Can you feel it?" a villager whispered, filling her voice. The air crackled, an electric thread of divine presence weaving through them. Suddenly, the woman cloaked in light reappeared, her voice flowing like a gentle stream. "Your prayers have reached heaven. Listen now, for the manifestations shall begin." A hush enveloped the room again, anticipation thickening with each heartbeat. "What will we see?" someone asked in wonder. "Signs shall emerge like morning dew upon the grass, small yet magnificent. Each symptom will call you to embrace the depths of your faithfulness. Ready yourselves for transformation," she declared, and with an upward wave of her hand, invisible threads reached out, intertwining their spirits in a luminous web. Mary felt tears spring to her eyes. What was happening? The warmth around her surged, igniting flames of hope and clarity within. "Open your hearts," she whispered passionately to her neighbors. "Let us embrace whatever may come." Then a delicate moment of silence settled in, pregnant with possibility. Mary caught Tom's eye, and together they raised their hands, invoking the fullness of God's presence. Divine light, reveal to us the truth hidden in our hearts. The air shimmered, and suddenly, the space around them filled with murmurs, snippets of visions flowing forth one after another from the villagers. "I saw a river," a young mother exclaimed. It was radiating with light, flowing freely. It felt like cleansing, and I saw a field dotted with flowers. Another voice chimed in, each blossom an answer, blooming in colors unknown. We were gathering them together. Mary smiled through her tears, her heart swelling. Wow, each vision is so beautiful. Keep sharing, keep speaking. As more voices joined, the atmosphere became electric, humming with witnessing faith unfolding. Suddenly, a wave of energy surged through Mary, deeper and stronger than before. The first symptom, she exclaimed, astonished. It is the awakening of the soul's desires to see and feel the truth. They gathered closer, each villager bursting forth with collective testimonies. I feel hope. One cried, I feel purpose. Another shouted. And then, as they embraced the flow of reactions, they suddenly grew. Still the chapel grew dim, the lights flickering ominously. The black moon was full now, standing boldly in the sky. What is happening? Mary gasped, her breath hitching in her throat. The woman in light smiled gently, illuminating the space around them. This is the next unveiling, the bridge of growth. Remember, each sign carries duality. Prepare your hearts for grace and for trials. In an instant, Mary's heart clenched. The trials? She felt a tension seep into her spirit, a soft wrestling with apprehension. But against this uncertainty was a steadfast truth that couldn't be shaken. Tom echoed the woman's words, his voice carrying authority along with conviction. These signs call us not just to understand joy, but to embrace the whole journey of transformation. We must rise to meet the challenges, for therein lies our strength. Mary took a step forward, her heart ablaze with renewed courage. Let us not fear, but rejoice. Each symptom beckons us into deeper faith. Together, we will transcend the trials. The chapel erupted, voices rising, a chorus of unwavering belief penetrating the night. They were soldiers of faith, ready to face the darkness. Yet in that readiness, they felt the warmth of divine love holding them, guiding their next steps. And as the night pressed onward, the echoes of their testimony melded with the promises of the black moon. What divine miracles lay just ahead? With clasped hands and open hearts, they knew that together, they could embrace every challenge and cherish each revelation. When dawn broke over Eldershire, it was not just a new day, but the beginning of something extraordinary, a journey of faith that would weave their souls together, forever transformed by the presence of the divine. Now go forth, dear reader, and walk this path of faith with us. Don't you dare wait another moment. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories. Your support is vital in spreading these powerful testimonies. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. It's essential for our community to grow. Comment your reactions and heartfelt testimonies about the ending your voice matters. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation. It's time to ignite faith in others. Don't wait even one more second to show your support. True servants of God understand the importance of lifting others up through these actions.